Welcome to the Hustling Sideways podcast. I'm Alan Halas. I'm a music writer.
And I am Jim Love, and I am a keynote and motivational speaker, but you would not guess that today because I lost my voice. So here we
Yes,
are. It's good to be here. Anyway, Alan, you know why I did though? You know why this is all happening?
I
Because
have a
it's March
sneaking
Madness.
suspicion.
It's March Madness, and things are getting
Yes.
wild here. It's not really why. I got sick like on Monday, so here I am. But I want to act
Oh,
like I was yelling at the TV because March Madness is wild. The men's tournament, the women's tournament, it's the best. It's the best week of the year. It's just awesome, and I'm all in. And my bracket is totally busted, as yours is too. And it's just a really good place to be. And it's madness, and I'm glad to be here. And we're back.
yes. I'm glad that you knew that my bracket was already busted.
Of
We
course,
didn't discuss that ahead of time,
but
but
I
I'm
just
really glad that
assumed.
you knew it.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's fair. That's super fair to say, and that is exactly where we're at. But
Of
yes, it
course.
is March Madness season, so I'm just gonna go ahead and assume that you were rooting for Siena to beat Duke, like we all were. And
And more importantly, the high point of the week, if you will,
oh,
was
watch where
your.
you go with this.
I'm just kidding. Go Badgers, I guess, right?
You don't have to say that.
Or is
We
it a
don't have to
low
go that
point of the
far.
week? Which one is it, KP? I'm not sure. High point or low point? I can't
Low
tell. Low
point, low
point.
point.
Yes.
Anyway,
That
I
that brings us
digress.
to our
Your team made the tournament. Mine stinks. So that's where we're at today.
that brings us to where we're at. We have a
That's
special
right.
guest today. I've known her for years since we went to high school together, but she is also a Wisconsin alum, Jim, and I forgot to tell you that part of
That's
it.
okay.
But I assume you mentioned you kind of caught on to that. Anyway,
That's right.
we have Katlyn Putney today, and she is the athletic director at Thomas More High School, St. Thomas More High School, as it's now known. And then also a board member with Wisconsin W Sports, which is a new project that has just launched within the last few months. So,
hmm
welcome, KP. Welcome to Hustling Sideways.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad to. When I saw that you were involved with this project, that was one of those things that I was like, okay, she needs to be on the podcast eventually. So I'm glad that we ran into each other, that we could talk about it.
Same.
Um, but before we even get to that part, kind of let us know your journey. I know a lot of it, ACL tears and all, but let me know about your background in sports that brought you to Thomas More.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was a three-sport athlete in high school, and I went to Thomas More with Alan, and I graduated from there in 2010, and then I went on to University of Wisconsin-Madison. I studied a couple different things, but mostly wanted to go into nonprofit communications. After college, I was able to get an internship at Thomas More, actually working in the development department in like media and marketing and development and all that stuff. And I did that. I did just that for 6 years. And then an opportunity to apply for the athletic director job came up. And the former athletic director, who's now our school president, he asked me, he's like, I really think you should apply for this. And while I had been working there, I was coaching girls soccer and girls basketball on the JV level, so I was really involved with sports in general. And obviously, like I was still playing sports a lot with Alan's wife. We played basketball together every once in a
Mhm.
while. That's where one of the three ACL tears happened. She was right there next to me when it happened.
Oh
Excuse
no.
me. And So I got this opportunity to apply for the athletic director job, and I didn't get it, but I did get the assistant athletic director job, and that was definitely like a blessing in disguise. I wasn't ready for the big gig, so I got a little bit of experience under my belt, and then for the 2023-2024 school year, that was my first year as just the athletic director, not working in development anymore. So I work with them, but not. I don't do the same stuff that I was working on before. So this is my, I think, 11th school year working at St. Thomas More, and my third year as the athletic director. And yeah, it's definitely the right role for me at the school. I feel like when you work in a nonprofit or if you work at a smaller school like ours, you kind of tend to have, like, you wear many hats. And I've worn a lot of hats since I started working there, and this is my favorite one. It's definitely the one that fits me best. So yeah, it's been
For
super
sure.
fun.
I forgot about the third ACL tear.
Oh
Honestly, I thought it
yeah,
was only two.
the third one was a re-tear of the first one.
Oh
Okay.
gosh.
All playing basketball, so I'm giving it up. Hoop dreams are
All right.
over. We're done.
Well, and did you start being like really tentative, like after like how do you mentally go into that when you're
So
playing
the
a game?
first one, that's a good question. So the first one, I was like 15, 16.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the second one was like 7 years later, and the one after that was another like 7 or 8 years later. So there was enough time in between where I'd already done the whole rehab thing and had started playing again, and I got the all clear. It's just one of the things that I'm actually looking into a lot more now, since one of our really good basketball players at school, one of the girls, just tore her ACL a couple weeks ago. And now I'm kind of looking into like, why does that happen? And it's like a whole like epidemic in teenage girls and in women in general. It's like the way that our hips are placed, and different times of the month your ligaments can be actually stretchier. So kind of looking into that and working with one of our strength and conditioning coaches to have a protocol ready, like a before the injury, injury prevention, that's the word, like an injury prevention thing, because I wasn't scared to play again, but now I just don't anymore. So it's kind of it's a trick, but it happens to a lot of women. And I mean, Alan's wife, Laura, is one of my good friends, and she's an athletic trainer, and she sees it all the time too. So I wouldn't recommend it, but ball is life. So I had to keep going back.
But ball is life. That is the same thing that Jim and I said before we didn't play high school or college basketball. That's what we said. We just applied it to life instead.
Yeah,
it's still there.
Ball is still it's still life, like metaphorically. It's just I'm not on the court.
That's a T-shirt right there. Ball is life metaphorically.
Metaphorically, yeah.
Yes, for sure. Working with student athletes and being able to be in that role right now as an athletic director, like, how much have you seen it already change even from when you were playing as an athlete? Because I mean, the limited exposure that I have to it, I see definitely, like, I will get stories of kids coming in and how they behave in school now versus when we were in school. But how have you seen it change, like, on the athletics level?
Yeah, I mean, I think on like large level, it's a lot of the same. I think kids are better at sports now than we were when we were in high school, just because the specialization and the only playing one sport is really, really popular. So my most elite athletes that I've had in the last couple of years are one sport athletes, or they play a second sport, like, just for fun. And of course they're just incredible. They're hard workers and they're incredible, like, athletes in general. So they're able to, like, pick up that other sport pretty easily. But kids are more likely to just play one sport right now. The kids that do play multiple sports, like when we were in high school, I think there were a lot of kids that played more than one sport. The kids that do that now, I mean, they're definitely still very good and they still have the same work ethic, but I think they're healthier physically and mentally than some of our single sport athletes. But yeah, the specialization is definitely around, and it's hard because, like, I want to say that I don't like it, but I also have, like, I know one of the Louisville baseball players, and one of my former athletes just played for the Billikens last night and had a great game. So it's like, it's hard, like, when you have the one sport athlete and they go far and they show that it's possible. So see it both ways on that. But kids are definitely not playing as many sports as they used to. I think the attitude around sports is a little bit different, where it's like, if we're not winning, I don't want to do it. And if I'm not good at it, I don't want to do it. Whereas, like, for us, I mean, this is a good example. So right now our boys tennis numbers are struggling. We only have like maybe 10 guys going out for the team. So there are 200 more kids at our school than when Alan and I graduated from there. And then when we graduated, there were 2 full tennis teams. So there are probably 25 guys. So we have 200 more kids in enrollment, but we have way less that are participating in tennis. And I've been talking to some guys and I'm like, hey, why don't you go out for tennis? And like, well, I've never played. I don't know if I'm going to be good at it. And it's like, who cares?
Right.
You get to be outside. Yeah. Like, how am I going to be? People are going to watch me be bad at something. That's a huge thing. Kids have a hard time, like, being perceived. And even like girls that are playing sports, I'm like, oh, it's going to be a big game. Hopefully we'll get a big crowd. They're like, oh, we don't want people coming. We don't want people at the game. I'm like, what do you mean? That's the best part. Like, having your friends and your classmates cheer for you. So there's a little bit of stuff around that. And I think, I mean, it's really easy to blame COVID. Like, kids were not around other kids. They didn't get like some of those experiences. But I think in general, it's just kids are a little bit sucked in to themselves, and they have like, it's more of like internal, and I mean, on the phones as well. Like they get a lot of their communication on a small scale versus like a large scale like we did. Like, super loud, busy classrooms and lunchrooms in the gym after school, and like even out on soccer field or at the softball diamond, like everybody's just out there and talking. And now kids are just a little bit more reserved. But
Yeah.
I've also like some of the kids that I've worked with, they have been just incredible athletes and leaders and people. And it's like, I love working with them. It's just, over 11 years of coaching and now in this role, it's like there's a lot of small differences that I've noticed for sure.
Yeah. And actually, I think about like the social media part of it too,
Mm-hmm.
of like everybody wants to be on a highlight reel video, a highlight reel Instagram,
Yeah.
but nobody wants to be the kid that like they struck out and they swung into the dirt and literally fell on their face and then gets posted
Right.
100,000 times. Like that's,
It's
I
not
think, a
personal.
very real
It's
effect.
super
Jim,
stressful.
yeah, I was gonna say, Jim, what's like? We know the size of our high school was only about
Yeah.
400 to now 600 kids.
Yeah.
Like, how big was your high school?
Yeah, mine was about 650, but all guys. I went to an all
Mm-hmm.
guys school, and
Okay.
then now it's co-ed, and it's like 1,200, right
Oh
around
wow.
there. So it's grown a lot, but we had some of these. I had a class that didn't participate in a lot of stuff. Unfortunately, my class was just like we almost had prom canceled because of lack of participation. It
Wow.
was just that's what our vibe was, and so I was very ready to get to college, to say the least. I mean, I loved my high school, but I was ready to go into something else. So some of those problems that you're talking about is funny. I'm like, well, yeah, that's kind of how my school was. So I guess it's so cultural, dependent, and a lot
For
of it was
sure.
like parents too. I'm curious, like what it's been like the parent, if you have a pulse on this, but like are kids hearing encouraging things from their parents about like to go out for these things, or are the parents like one sport only, focus on this? Like, have you heard any level of that from the students as well?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a mix. There's a lot of parents that are super encouraging for their kids, like, oh, like, so and so wants to go out for softball for the first time. Okay, cool. Yep, we'll get the stuff. We'll get the mitt and the cleats and the bat and whatever else. And but there's other parents that have spent a lot of time and money making sure that their kid is an elite basketball player. So they want that to be the focus. And I think there's and I have like incredible students and incredible parents at our school, and I've like that's what one of the benefits of me having been there for a long time is I kind of grew up with some of these parents as well, where their first kid was a freshman when I first started working there, and now their fourth kid is a freshman. So it's like been kind of fun to like continue to get to know a lot of these families. There a lot of the kids and the parents are actually on the same page. So when one of my baseball players, he wants to be an elite baseball player, he wants to get drafted, he wants all this stuff, and his parents are on the same page as him.
Yep.
And a lot of times, a lot of the parents are really realistic about it too, which is really great to see. Where it's like, well, yeah, he had a pretty bad game, and coach was in the college coach was in the stands, and now we're gonna have to like rethink some of our options in case that this offer doesn't come when we think it's going to. So, people have been pretty realistic, and I try to work as closely as I can, like with the families too, mostly because I'm curious about that process and trying like getting to know like when the dead period is and when they can actually when people can actually start talking to some of these kids about like colleges and stuff. That's been super interesting. So yeah, I would say that like parents are definitely putting pressure on the kids, but at least the ones that I've talked to, a lot of them are on the same page and everybody wants the same end result.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah, and I think about like I never played club, but I know at the time that there were coaches that they wouldn't even look at you unless you played club, or you know what I
Yeah.
mean. Like you played your high school sport, but you also played a club season in the off season, and you were just nonstop. For me it was soccer. And then eventually like tennis, there wasn't really people had to watch me be bad at tennis because we were like one of that 25.
Yeah.
But for like soccer, like you didn't get a look unless you played club. Like that was the
Right.
reality of it. Do you see that now? I'm sure you probably have to work with the coaches on that level too, of trying to be a little bit more like accepting of kids that aren't playing year round one
For
sport.
sure.
But do you see that happening where like there are kids that are playing club sports still that, like you said, want to be at that elite level, so they're just getting pushed into like you got to be the one sport athlete here?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that that pressure probably comes more from their club coach or like even just themselves. Like, I want to be a 4-year varsity starter for basketball. I have to play AAU. I cannot do track. I have to do. I think like our coaches for the most part are very like, yeah, be a multi-sport athlete. That's great. But when it's our season, you're playing for me. So I think most of the coaches, at least as far as I can tell so far, are very everybody wants to work together. Like a lot of our coaches actually went to St. Thomas More High School, so everybody wants the success to be like spread out throughout all programs. and I mean, yeah, it is a little bit nice with a little bigger enrollment. We can be a little bit pickier about who makes the team, but it's not always the case, right? Like sometimes coaches have to give a look to a kid that doesn't play club because nobody else tried out. And I think we've had so many students in the last 5-6 years who are not club players who've come on to do amazing things for our teams. Maybe they're not the leading scorer, but they're an incredible like team player, and they're a really good presence on the bench, and they're a great practice player. So I think all of our coaches see a lot of value in not having club players like always on your team.
For sure. And for what it's worth, a lot more trophies in the trophy case, I think, now than when we were going there.
We
so
unfortunately,
that's a testament to
yeah,
you
I mean,
guys and to your staff.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we were in kind of a rough period of the sports history there, so it's been on the up and up, which has been super fun for me to see some really good teams. And we won state basketball my first year as the athletic director, which was like an incredible experience. And I've gotten to go to numerous state tournaments since then too. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, love what you're doing with that, and I like seeing highlights from social media of just seeing teams just doing well, which is great. Yeah. And like I said, testament to the whole program altogether. Let's talk about Wisconsin W Sports, though, because this is the new shiny thing that kind of is coming onto the radar. How did you kind of get connected with everybody that was getting involved with this project?
Yeah, for sure. So my first year as the athletic director, I went to our state athletic director conference. It's in November of every year in the Wisconsin Dells. And there are 500 and some athletic directors in the state. And I would say probably like 250, maybe 350 of those athletic directors go to this conference. So it's a really great opportunity to network and to meet people. And a lot of the ADs that I communicate with, I've never seen in real life, right? Because I just email them or I call them. So at that conference, I connected with a couple other athletic directors in the Milwaukee area that are all females. So I knew that I was in a male-dominated field, but I didn't know like how much that was going to be like evident as I started like working in it. So there's a group of about 5 of us, and we all became pretty close. So as we get closer and closer over the last couple years, and then this year, the athletic director from Greenfield, Nina, she has been working on a data project trying to figure out like why girls do and don't participate in sports. So we are kind of combing through the data because we presented at the state conference this year. And what we do at the conference is like there's mini sessions, so athletic directors will present a topic to other athletic directors. So we were presenting on this data of like why do girls quit? And she had also been working with a couple other athletic directors, one of them being Peggy, who just retired from DSHA. She was their athletic director for almost 40 years, so she had a ton of experience in the field. And so we're like going through this data, and then Nina had the idea. She's like, hey, there is like really nothing in this state that only celebrates girl high school athletes. So some of you guys may have heard of like the football frenzy that's on the news in the fall for high school football, and there's like not a volleyball equivalent, which there should be, right? Like like the way more kids play volleyball than football. Yeah. So we were kind of like, yeah, we should do this. So it was kind of like, we need to do more for our girls. And I think just in being I think there's less than 100 female athletic directors in the state. So it's really, I think all of us are very cognizant of like, oh yeah, like the girls feel this way because of how like the boys are treated differently. And kind of, it's just like always at top of mind because like we're not always treated differently, but it's always just something that we're thinking about. Being the the only girl in some of these meetings. So we at this year's conference we kind of talked, and it all just kind of came together. We're like a bunch of girls or female ADs from around the state got together in one of the boardrooms in the Dells Convention Center at the Kalahari, and we were like, okay, like what do we want this to look like? What are we going to call it? How does everybody want to be involved? And it was pretty cool. There were a lot of really good ideas, and we had talked about this, and then we had presented the data. We had our presentation about why participation rates and all that stuff. Why are they going down? Why are they going up? Why girls quit? Why they stay? And we got really good feedback from that. So then since then it's been actually kind of tough because we all work at different schools and we're all in different areas of the state. So trying to work on stuff together via email, via text, or via video calls. But I think yeah, it's worked super well so far. And I think right now we have our website, so wisconsinwsports.com, and we have Instagram and a newsletter that we're sending out to all athletic directors. And basically we're trying to highlight, big games, coaches' resources. We just started highlighting some like sports psychology tips and tricks. We're going to have like rankings coming out soon. So the coaches associations are connected with us, and they're going to send us their like weekly rankings once like soccer and softball start.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think that's going to be fun. And with like, for all the divisions, and then like hopefully doing some like more college commitment stuff. So there's some of that stuff all on the website as well. And it's hard because we're still super new. So we officially launched on National Girls and Women in Sports Day, which is in early February. And since then it's been like kind of a whirlwind of trying to like acquire content and then like spit it back out in the way that we want it. And Nina's been doing an amazing job. She's kind of like, it kind of feels like she's a one-woman show right now because she's like producing so much content for it. But we've got a like amazing athletic director up in the Northwoods who's been working on the newsletter for us, and one of our ADs down here in District 7, which is like the Milwaukee area. She's been doing all of like the budgeting and working on like a sponsorship letter and all of that. So everybody's kind of chipping in, which has been super great. We have a really cool student at Wisconsin Lutheran College who created the whole website for us, and she does a lot of our like graphics.
Awesome.
One of the hockey coaches up in the North Shore, she's making all of our TikToks for us. So it's like everybody's pitching in, which has been awesome. It's been a really great like teamwork collaboration type of project. So there's like, I think once we get a little bit more help, or everybody's really busy. I think you guys could probably guess how crazy it is, like especially in season, being an athletic director. There's 1,000 things going on, and then you have a snow day on the first day of softball and you can't go outside and practice, like all these things. So hopefully some of the stuff that we want and that are in progress, we want to have like a leadership program and like mentorship opportunities, like hopefully connecting current high school girls with college athletes, or with people like women who work in athletics that they're like interested in like kind of like shadowing for career advice. We're going to continue to have a presence at the state tournaments. Nina and I went to the girls basketball state tournament last weekend, and it was so fun. Like we had like media passes, and we got to sit courtside, and it was just like, it was like posting up watching March Madness, except it was like high school girls, and then the girls walk right behind you after the game, and you get to talk to them, and you get to talk to the coaches. So it's like small scale, but and the environment was great. It was actually the 50th WIA state tournament. So there was a lot of extra special celebrations going on, and it felt really cool to just be there. So that was awesome. And yeah, it's just, there's a lot of stuff going on, and we're still kind of learning how to work together and how to work on all this stuff as like a side gig versus like, we all know how to get through the day to day of our jobs, but this is, additional. So yeah, it's been a journey.
Are there other states that you can benchmark this from? Like, have other states done things similar to this as well?
So I think Nina did look into that, and I believe there was, I think a school Michigan maybe had something. A lot of it's just for college, though. There's like college like highlights. I'm not sure if there's a ton of like high school only, girls only, like media platforms. So we're not hopefully entirely rewriting the wheel. I don't think we're copying anybody really, but even if we are, it's like that ADs copy each other all the time. If I see something I like, I'm taking it. Like, why I do the work twice. So so yeah, I think, and especially since it's such like a topic at the forefront too. Like, I think everybody's seen it, and everybody watches women's sports shirt. All the different things with the the WNBA reaching their like collective bargaining agreement today or yesterday, whatever that was, like all this stuff. Women's hockey just hit, they like increased, I think they hit 100, I don't even know what it was. They're some huge stat about like girls signing up for hockey since the Olympics. It's like super awesome. So it's like, it's a topic that should be on everybody's mind. And if you like don't know about what's going on in women's sports, I feel like at this point you have to be like on purpose avoiding it, because it's everywhere. So it feels really good to be a part of it right now. And it's something that we all care so much about. And it's easy to care about, and it's easy to work on it when we're all so passionate about it.
Yeah, and like you said too, I mean, the attention that goes to men's sports versus women's sports, but then you look at the success rate of like the women's soccer team, like the national team, or the women's hockey team, in this past Olympics, and all of the Wisconsin alums that came out of that too.
Yeah,
But
super
also
cool.
at that high school level too, like you think the attention, at least in my experience, was always on like the men's sports, and
Yeah.
even like we went to Marquette. Men's basketball games where you had to pay to get into, you could get to a
Hmm.
women's basketball game for free. So like just
Yeah.
that inequality was like, and it was like because they needed to drum up the attention. And still, I mean,
Right.
I don't know, for whatever reason, like that
Well,
disparity is
yeah,
there,
I
and
mean,
it shouldn't be. Yeah.
agreed. And I've talked to some kids, especially some of like the boys at school. I'm like, hey, how come you guys don't come to the girls' games? And especially a couple years ago when our boys' team was really good, it's like, well, I'm not going to see a windmill dunk at the girls' game. Like, okay, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
sure. Like if that's what you're there for, fine. But like our girls' team was very good this year, and they were really fun to watch, and attendance was still like not super great. And it's just something that all of us are, yeah, constantly thinking about and trying to improve on. There's some pretty cool, well, they're not cool because they're actually like terrifying and horrifying, but there's some interesting stats about like why girls drop out of sports, and it's like 45% of girls quit sports before the age of 14, and a lot of that is which is twice as likely as boys, and a lot of that is because of like body confidence and just confidence in general, and then like lack of encouragement. So it's hard, right, when you see like your parents maybe watching men's March Madness and they never turn on the girls tournament, and it's like I
Right.
think kids hear and see everything, even when you don't think that they're listening to you. They're observing, they're absorbing what's going on. So a lot of these like things are just so ingrained, unfortunately, into our society that it's going to take a while for it to reverse. But I think we're working on it. I think it's getting there. I mean, most people
Yeah.
can name 5 female athletes now. I don't think that was the case a couple years ago. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Even growing up, like, I mean, there was always that stigma or that stereotype of like sports were for boys, and
Hmm.
then the girls had whatever else. Now, my little sister did play sports, and obviously, like Laura played sports, and
Yeah.
you grew up playing sports. But so many, that was the stereotype. Even when we were kids, was like
Yeah.
sports were for the boys, and like you might have a couple girls that signed up, and that was it.
Right.
So, where do you see things going for this? I mean, like, I guess I should back up. What has the initial response been to you guys' launch? Have you gotten attention that you weren't necessarily anticipating it so far?
I don't think we weren't anticipating any of it. I mean, I think we all kind of knew that this was something that was needed and what the girls like really wanted. The I think the perception has been really good, especially after being at the state tournament. This blows my mind. None of these high school kids have their accounts private on Instagram. So crazy. But we would like take these videos and pictures, and then we would just tag the girls. And then the girls would reshare our post and follow us, and then their friends followed us and then looked through the pictures to find like their other friends that were tagged. So it kind of like bloomed a little bit after the state tournament this past weekend. And I think that's just going to grow. And it's not that I don't care if grown-ups follow it, but it's for the kids. It's
Right.
for the girls.
Yeah.
So what we really want, I think, is for everybody, for all female athletes in the state to feel comfortable playing sports and feel comfortable sticking with sports. And I mean, if they somehow figure out how to do that without us, that's amazing. And I want to know more. But that's what we're trying to do, is make sure that there's visibility and representation for all the girls and just encouragement. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Super
Awesome.
cool.
Awesome.
Where do you want to take this in this first year of having this thing kind of out there? I mean, has anybody thought of the big lofty goal of like this breaks off and becomes its own thing, or is this all going to be a project, within the ADs?
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us kind of have like different ideas of where, like, at least when we first started, like where we want it to go. For me, I was like, oh, this is just a project that we all work on. But and it's just a kind of a side gig. But I think for some of the other women that we're working with, I think they want this to be like, they want it to be huge and they want it to be a full-time thing. And I think that that's amazing. And I'm hoping to be around every step of the way. I think we have a long ways to go as far as like we don't have any sponsors or funding, so everybody's working for free right now. And I know that if we want, professional photographers, and if we want people to make graphics for us, and a lot of like the media and the marketing, that doesn't come for free. So I think we're doing all of that right now. So once we have a little bit of money, then we can kind of outsource some of that stuff, and make it into a bigger company. But yeah, I mean, I think this is going to end up being a full-fledged, it already is a nonprofit organization. We filed all that paperwork, so we're good with that. But I think it's going to end up being a full-on nonprofit organization. And my hope is to be on the board and to be like an advisory person on it and be able to help out wherever I can. Because I love being an athletic director and I love working with causes like this. So I would love to be involved forever if possible.
Very cool. Well, we appreciate what you're doing, and we
Thanks.
obviously want to get the word out about it too. Where's the best places to go and find and follow everything Wisconsin W Sports?
So, I mean, I mostly interact with our Instagram, so it's at Wisconsin W Sports. The website has everything linked on it as well. If you're interested in following us on LinkedIn, you can just search Wisconsin W Sports, and we have TikTok as well. I'm not on TikTok, so I think the handle is like WiskW Sports. But if you search us, you'll find us. And yeah, just engage, follow, reshare, everything. So.
Okay, one more lofty goal question. Like, which female athlete, if you could get any dream athlete to endorse this thing, is it, for me, is it like a Megan Rapinoe, or is it like
That's a great question.
Women's hockey player? Who would be the one that you would want to be like all in on this thing?
Yeah, I would want Alona Mar, the rugby player. She's just
great.
done so much. She's done so much for her sport, and I think and rugby is getting big, getting big at the high school level as well. So I think she'd be amazing, and she's done a lot for body positivity and like what it means to be strong, and it's okay for girls to be fierce and intense, and that's something that I super believe in. So yeah, I would want her to be the spokeswoman for us. I think that would be great. And she's a good example too of somebody who thought she was going in one direction with sports. I can't remember what sport she was playing before hockey, but she like switched later in life to a different sport to try something new and ended up being amazing at it. And she's an Olympian and a professional rugby player. So yeah, I would want her. That's a great question.
Okay. Very cool. Love that.
Awesome answer.
All right. Well, thank you for taking the time to sit down with us and do this. Again, that website, wisconsinwsports.com. Go check that out as well. We are the Hustling Sideways podcast. We're available wherever you get your podcasts. You can find us also on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and wherever else. YouTube. I don't know, Jim. It's been a minute. We're on all of the places. Just search for that.
Right.
So if you want to be a guest on the show, you can also send us an email. It is hustlingsideways@gmail.com. And Jim.
Keep on hustling.